So in that sense, what Saif Ali Khan referred to is what historians of all kinds agree, except the lunatic fringe. Saif Ali Khan has made a beautiful comment on the predicament of an artist and a socially concerned, socially conscious and historically conscious citizen. So I thought it was an absolutely brilliant comment. Saif Ali Khan was absolutely right. He must have read it in schools and colleges and even reflected on it, that it's a concept when the British administratively united the largest chunk of India territorially. You see, Bharat as a notion, as a consciousness might have been there. There are debates with historians because the name comes up in many references, because the Mughals had done the maximum politically and administratively connecting different parts of the country. But even the Mughals could not go beyond, say, Assam. No? So 1826, when the British signed the Treaty of Yandabo, then the part of Assam came to what is called today India. So forget about Nagaland and Manipur and all these places. They came later on. Similarly, for example, Darjeeling, it comes to India in 1848 from the Sikkim. It's a huge empire called Sikkim, and that Sikkim is just an annexed small state in India today. But so British annexed a lot of parts. Similarly, the British annexed a lot of parts which were a part of contest between Iran and India, for example. For example, India, when the Mughals lost Kabul in 1622, so Kabul was part of something called Hindustan, which now it's different territory altogether. But there are areas which were beyond what is called Northwest Frontier Province in Pakistan today, which were not part of even British India. And similarly, there's a part in beyond Nagaland or in Nagaland today, which were not part of British India. So after independence, they said we were not part of British India, so we were independent. And these two regions remain the bone of contention between Indian state as well as Pakistani states. So in that sense, what Saif Ali Khan referred to is what historians of all kinds agree, except the lunatic fringe. One record would be the Roman trade, Indicus. Right. Pliny's geography might have recorded Indicus, because that is what and that's why India is such a central place. Yeah. India was referred in the Roman Greek text to the Indicum. So India in that sense. That is others referring to you. Did we refer to ourselves as India? I don't think so. Right. It is only when the British came so there's in the word India. Bharat was referred because there are a lot of things. Jambudweep was referred as a referred. But these are references of land masses. Right. Similarly, Pandyas, Cholas would have been referring there something else. Right. So every region, but to say that Bharat, which was referred, say maybe suppose 11th century, was referring to Ukhrul or something called Sikkim or Nagaland, would be too far-fetched, too imaginary and too lunatic, that idea. Because if you see there are ethnic and whatever characteristics they have, they should have been more in that part of the Asian continent than this part of the Asian continent. Similarly, for a Punjabi, they have much more look like the western frontiers, than to a Tamil. So all these disparate people, India is a peopling of people. So in these people, if any one category defined all of these, I would say it is a national movement, the period of national movement, when they concretize the idea of we the people of India, as against the British idea of a politically, territorially, administratively united people, which they might have called India, but they necessarily did not mention them as a people of India. This is India. On the other hand, we said we are different people, but we may be inhabiting India as a country, but we also have a sense of shared identity called India, which may not be historical. We culled from history many attributes. We and the national movement created that sense of nation making through their nation making efforts. So it is a political, administrative, territorial connect which the British united. But to say that they created a nation would be slightly off the mark, because the idea of nationalism, which makes nation, is a product of national movement. When they posited this nation and the people, that's why they constantly talked about Indian people as against Indian, and Indian people as against colonialism. So modern nation that we are standing today is product of both political, administrative and territorial integrity that came together for last so many centuries. The Mughals brought in, the Sultanate brought in, and then the other formation, and the British came in the last, and then the national movement gave it a sense, a purpose, a vision and a definition of nation. We the people of India. Because otherwise there's no nation. If you don't say we the people of India, how can a Manipuri be part of India where it was never historically part of India? So by forcing your contemporary concept that Manipur is our part because they are Vaishnav, or Nagas are, these are just assertion without any historical correlates. Shivaji was an inspiration for local people. See, for example, the person who popularized most in Indian politics was Tilak. But Tilak used Shivaji to galvanize people. He's an inspiration. But Shivaji's concept now to transcend that and counter it with something called Indian nation would be anti-history, and this anti-history is what is being played by lunatic fringe, those who want to create Indian nation in terms of cultural nation. So they bring this notion of countering Mughal India or Muslim India, they would say. So Shivaji's or Rana Pratap or any other who were inspiration for national movement. But the fact that they had an idea of a nation that we contextualize today will be far-fetched, and that is what modern historians have rejected long back. That nation today is a modern concept, construct. It's a concept. It's imagination, as our scholar, what is his name, Benedict Anderson, and imagine. We all imagine that we live in a nation. Indian, it will be difficult. So we are trying to foist a concrete idea of Indianness today, but you have to be this. But in many places, it's a shared identity. We share our Indianness.